In the world we live in, there's all types of radiation. Radiation from stars, radiation from our own sun, and radiation that we are responsible for. So stay with us, let's take a trip around the world and see the most radioactive places on Earth. First place we're gonna go to, you're not gonna believe that there's this much radiation and there are millions of people living around it. The Mediterranean Sea. Why is the Mediterranean polluted? It's been more than 30 years that ships carrying nuclear waste have sunk in this sea. And everybody says, I don't know what happened. But they say the Italian mafia is in charge of this. You might not believe this, but in the last 30 years, 30 ships have sunk in this sea or have gone missing. They say if the Mediterranean wasn't connected to an ocean, it would be like a swamp of pollution. There is 3 continents connecting this sea together, and you could say they don't take care of the sea at all. But most of the damage was done by a European country, Italy. But they say the Italian mafia was behind it because there's money in it. The Italian mafia doesn't only damage the Mediterranean Sea. To dump more nuclear waste, they go down in the Red Sea and enter the Indian Ocean. One of the most popular places they dump their nuclear waste is in the Somalian waters. It's scary, but in the 2004 tsunami, the waves washed up barrels of nuclear waste to the beaches. They came to investigate and noticed that these barrels have been sitting down there since 1991, and the tsunami snitched and brought it into shore. It's truly sad for Earth's waters. After the Mediterranean Sea, the most radioactive place is Hanford Site in Washington State. This is the place the first atom bomb was created, but it was the second one that exploded because it was the one that blew up in Nagasaki. In this place, most of the USS plutonium was created. This place was used to make 60,000 nuclear weapons for the United States. And you can only imagine how much nuclear waste is sitting here. But at least the Americans don't dump their waste into the ocean. But around Hanford Site, it's kept underground, sealed away. A lot of people believe that Hanford Site is the most dangerous place in the United States because there's 56 million gallons of nuclear waste kept underneath there. Washington State is full of trees, and a lot of companies use the wood from the trees. But Hanford Site is located in the desert part of Washington State, and there's no population living around it. The next polluted place, Mayak, Russia. The bad thing that came out of this place was caused by irresponsible workers. They basically poured nuclear waste into a tank and didn't care about it at all. They let it go until in 1957 it exploded. This explosion caused 400,000 people to get injured or sick, and there were sicknesses that they had no idea what it was. The next place, Sellafield in England. This was the first nuclear plant in England, and it was also the place that created the first atom bomb for the UK. The British weren't very different from the Russians. Although they were kinda worse, they would pour their nuclear waste into the Irish Sea, and this is the most polluted sea on Earth. And also, irresponsible workers caused an explosion in 1957. And it was on fire for 3 days straight, and you can imagine the pollution it caused. But this place is still not great. There's 140 tons of plutonium waste in this place. and unfortunately, they can't do anything with it. If they want to dump it in the ocean like the old times, everybody's gonna complain. That is why it is kept underground over there. If you haven't noticed, the more we move forward, the more radioactive the place gets. Another mess up by the Russians. In Siberia, there's a small pool that has 1,000 liters of nuclear waste. It also doesn't have any cover, so it's out in the open. There's no actual pictures from this place because no journalist wants to go there, get sick just for the content. Next place, another place that was caused by the USSR. Mailu-Su, Kyrgyzstan. One of the first bombs the USSR made was made here. 10,000 tons of uranium was processed in this facility. Under this facility, there's some things laying that makes you shiver. 2 million cubic meters of nuclear waste is sitting under this facility. I'm not sure if Kyrgyzstan is taking care of all these issues, because if anything happens, it's gonna destroy the surroundings. Another situation caused by the Soviets. The Polygon in Kazakhstan. Every nuclear bomb by the USSR was tested in this place. It's funny because they did all these tests in countries that are not Russia. Till the fall of the Soviets, nobody knew what happened, but later they realized that the radiation from all these testings caused 200,000 people to die or get extremely sick. The next place that's the most radioactive place on Earth, Chernobyl. And when it happened, it was part of the USSR. Most people know what exactly happened here, but the short story is that a terribly designed reactor exploded in 1986, and it causes the Chernobyl disaster. Over 1 million people were affected by this explosion, and more than 100,000 people died. When the USSR was around, they would say only 4,000 people died because of this. They say, if you want to clean up Chernobyl over time, it's gonna take over 20,000 years. But the most radioactive place on Earth right now is Fukushima in Japan. Something that was caused by a natural disaster. 10 years ago, a tsunami happened in Japan. An earthquake in the ocean caused one of the biggest tsunamis we've ever seen. The tsunami also destroyed the Fukushima plant. It caused the nuclear waste to go into the ocean and burn and go into the air. This is the newest nuclear disaster, and it's pretty similar, if not worse than Chernobyl. Before this happened, 13,000 people lived around here, but now only around 3,600 people live here, which most of them are very old. A lot of people have ideas on when Fukushima is gonna be stable to stay in. Some people are very optimistic and say in 100 years it's gonna be back to normal. But a lot of people say no. Just like Chernobyl, it's gonna take over 20,000 years for this place to be normal again. What do you guys think? Please leave us a comment and let us know what's going on with us.